Vous voulez que les résultats sortent d'abord, non? C'est sorti. Vous avez parlé que les résultats sortaient d'abord, non? C'est sorti. Vous voulez que ça sorte d'abord, non? C'est sorti. Donc ça part du monde. Oui, j'ai prendre les feux. Oui. Oui, j'ai prendre les feux. Oui. On ne casse rien, on ne casse rien. 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 Ça c'est les massacres de l'enfant, on ne casse rien. On ne casse rien. Voilà la police qui marche avec nous, voilà la gendarmerie qui marche avec nous. On ne casse rien. On ne casse rien. On ne casse rien. Voilà la gendarmerie qui marche avec la population. Voilà ça. C'est un bac, voilà ça. C'est bon, père, c'est bon. Le cul de la mère du don. 7 ans. On gâte partout. On ne met pas 2 fois du long. C'est bon. C'est bon les gars, nous sommes fatigués du long. 7 ans encore, qu'est-ce que c'est quoi? Ou bang sous le cul de sa mère. Mais de 7 ans encore. 7 ans encore, qu'est-ce que c'est quoi? On bloque partout, ça ne passe pas. Ici à la chaîne, ça ne passe pas. On bloque partout. 7 ans encore, qu'est-ce que c'est quoi? 7 ans encore, mais 2. On est où là? Non, père. C'est bon, père, c'est bon. Le cul de la mère du don. 7 ans. On gâte partout. On ne met pas 2 fois du long. C'est bon.
Back on the bus. Back on the bus.
Les gendarmes eux-mêmes ils sont époustouflés. Comme vous pouvez constater, les gars ont bloqué la route. Complètement bloqué la route. À Yassa. Et là nous nous trouvons actuellement à Tradex. Donc là c'est la première entrée bonne qui est en train de brûler là. Et de l'autre côté c'est entrée carrière. Et il y en a encore aux machines d'embasser. Donc village est saturé. Village ne passe pas. Les gars sont en train de réclamer la vérité et voilà. Nous sommes là en temps réel à Tradex Bronedis. Voilà une gendarmerie qui est censée mettre de l'ordre. C'est fermé avec ces genres de chaînes et je ne sais quoi dire. Même les gendarmes eux-mêmes ils sont époustouflés. Comme vous pouvez constater, les gars ont bloqué la route. Complètement bloqué la route. À Yassa. Et là, nous nous trouvons actuellement à Tradex. Donc là, c'est la première entrée bonne qui est en train de brûler là. Et de l'autre côté, c'est entrée carrière. Et il y en a encore aux machines d'embasser. Donc, village est
Chers amis abonnés, salut à vous, peuple camerounais du changement, salut à toi. Oui, le déroulé actuel sur toute l'étendue du territoire camerounais, massivement, déjà d'abord, Douala Yaoundé en mouvement. Ce sont les images d'il y a quelques minutes qui sont prises comme ça sur la plateforme du plus grand investigateur continental, la Panthère Noire. Le combat continue, seule la lutte libère jusqu'à la chute de ce régime.
Il ne faut pas descendre. Il ne faut pas repasser. Comment c'est la discussion? C'est la discussion. Il va démonter.
Bon, les gars sont décidés. Les gars sont décidés. Les gars sont décidés. Tout le boulot que tu veux travailler, on t'attrape, on t'arnaque sur ça. On t'attrape, on t'arnaque sur ça. Ah. Il y a ça, Carrefour, il y a ça, c'est la magie. Carrefour, il y a ça, c'est la magie. Et Babana a décidé de discuter avec la gendarmerie qui ne laisse rien passer.
Yaoundé actuellement, école de police. Yaoundé, école de police.
Pas rester à la maison. Ah! Regarde les gens, les bons français, tu peux pas rester à la maison. Ah! Regarde les gens, les bons français, tu peux pas rester à la maison. Ah!
Dokoti Douala exige le départ du tyran Biya. Dokoti Douala exige le départ du tyran Biya. Peuple camerounais, mobilisons-nous. Merci à vous sur le terrain, merci jeunesse camerounaise sur le terrain. Écoutons actuellement ensemble le président élu dans les urnes de la République du Cameroun, M. Issa Chiroma Bakari, donnant des conseils aux jeunes venus en masse, en milliers, devant son domicile.
Deux personnes déjà.
Excellence, il y a 5 snipers dans la résidence de Rima Dewa. 5 snipers.
Ils sont en train de tirer.
Et ils sont en train de tirer.
Ils ont tiré deux personnes déjà.
Il y a 5 snipers.
Donnez, asseyez-vous. On va donner des informations.
Le président a dit pas d'armes, pas de rien, qu'on reste comme ça.
On respecte la parole du président, s'il vous plaît. Pas d'armes, s'il vous plaît. Le président a parlé. Respectez la parole du président, s'il vous plaît.
Pas d'armes, pas d'armes, pas d'armes, pas encore à cette phase du combat, pas nécessaire, pas du tout. Parole sage.
Bismillah.
Vous comprenez? Restez là, il faut maintenant que tout le marché vienne pour qu'ils sachent qu'ils ne peuvent pas. Ok? C'est ça notre défense, notre arme, c'est ça. Les gens vont venir de partout pour être très nombreux.
Ils sont en train de venir, on a déjà appelé le
Ils ne peuvent pas tirer sur les gens, ils ne peuvent pas. Accueil. Ils ont tué
deux personnes déjà.
Excellence, il y a 5 snipers dans la résidence de Rima Dewa. 5 snipers.
Ils sont en train de tirer.
Et ils sont en train de tirer.
Ils ont tiré deux personnes déjà.
Il y a 5 snipers.
Donnez, asseyez-vous. On va donner des informations.
Le président a dit pas d'armes, pas de rien, qu'on reste comme ça.
On respecte la parole du président, s'il vous plaît. Pas d'armes, s'il vous plaît. Le président a parlé. Respectez la parole du président, s'il vous plaît.
Excellence, Bismillah.
Vous comprenez? Restez là, il faut maintenant que tout le marché vienne pour qu'ils sachent qu'ils ne peuvent pas.
Le Camerounais en ont marre, il en a marre. 43 ans, c'est beaucoup. On veut le changement, la tenance au pouvoir. On doit respecter la démocratie. Le pouvoir, c'est au peuple. C'est le peuple qui décide. Ce n'est pas Paul Biya qui décide, c'est le peuple. C'est le peuple. On doit respecter le choix du peuple. Chiroma est notre président qui est connu par le peuple.
Nous sommes à 43 ans, on est fatigué. 43 ans, regardez. Ça, c'est quoi? C'est délicable. Nous ne sommes pas, nous sommes des citoyens.
Attendons, ça se calme. Hein? On le prend ici, là. Certains le prennent ici, là, mais on le prend comme ça. Ils vont fuir.
Missy, on. Missy, on.
Le pouvoir comme c'est éternel. Le Camerounais il en a marre. 43 ans, c'est beaucoup. On veut le changement, la tenance au pouvoir. On doit respecter la démocratie. Le pouvoir, c'est au peuple. C'est le peuple qui décide. Ce n'est pas Paul Biya qui décide. C'est le peuple. C'est le peuple. On doit respecter le choix du peuple. Turoma est notre président qui est connu par le peuple.
Et nous ne sommes pas là pour bagarrer avec eux. Nous sommes à 43 ans, on est fatigué. 43 ans, regardez. Ça, c'est quoi? C'est délicable. Nous ne sommes pas, nous sommes des citoyens.
Attendons, ça se calme. Hein? On le prend ici, là. Certains le prennent ici, là, mais on le prend comme ça. Ils vont fuir.
Il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Bois ici là, seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là, c'est grave. Et voilà avec les grosses voitures de guerre. Ça c'est les autres, hein. C'est pas la même voiture qui est filmée depuis. Hein. Quand vous voyez qu'il envoie une vidéo là, c'est que c'est les autres. Vous voyez la voiture ici là. Je sais pas comment ils appellent ça dans l'armée. Mais c'est grave. C'est grave. Les gars sont pêchés là-bas en haut. Seulement le petit Brazzaville, il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Brazzaville ici là, seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là, c'est grave. Et voilà avec les grosses voitures de guerre. Ça c'est les autres, hein. C'est pas la même voiture qui est filmée depuis. Hein. Quand vous voyez qu'il envoie une vidéo là, c'est que c'est les autres. Vous voyez la voiture ici là. Je sais pas comment ils appellent ça dans l'armée. Mais c'est grave. C'est grave. Les gars sont pêchés là-bas en haut. Seulement le petit Brazzaville, il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Brazzaville ici là, seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là, c'est grave. Et voilà avec les grosses voitures de guerre. Ça c'est les autres, hein. C'est pas la même voiture qui est filmée depuis. Hein. Quand vous voyez qu'il envoie une vidéo là, c'est que c'est les autres. Vous voyez la voiture ici là. Je sais pas comment ils appellent ça dans l'armée. Mais c'est grave. C'est grave. Les gars sont pêchés là-bas en haut. Seulement le petit Brazzaville, il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Brazzaville ici là, seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là, c'est grave. Et voilà avec les grosses voitures de guerre. Ça c'est les autres, hein. C'est pas la même voiture qui est filmée depuis. Hein. Quand vous voyez qu'il envoie une vidéo là, c'est que c'est les autres. Vous voyez la voiture ici là. Je sais pas comment ils appellent ça dans l'armée. Mais c'est grave. C'est grave. Les gars sont pêchés là-bas en haut. Seulement le petit Brazzaville, il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Brazzaville ici là, seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là, c'est grave. Et voilà avec les grosses voitures de guerre. Ça c'est les autres, hein. C'est pas la même voiture qui est filmée depuis. Hein. Quand vous voyez qu'il envoie une vidéo là, c'est que c'est les autres. Vous voyez la voiture ici là. Je sais pas comment ils appellent ça dans l'armée. Mais c'est grave. C'est grave. Les gars sont pêchés là-bas en haut. Seulement le petit Brazzaville, il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Brazzaville ici là, seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là, c'est grave. Et voilà, avec les grosses voitures de guerre. Ça c'est les autres, hein. C'est pas la même voiture qui filme depuis. Hein. Quand vous voyez qu'il envoie une vidéo là, c'est que c'est les autres. Vous voyez la voiture ici là. Je sais pas comment ils appellent ça dans l'armée. Mais c'est grave. C'est grave. Les gars sont pêchés là-bas en haut. Seulement le petit Brazzaville, il y a au moins plus de 10 voitures de guerre qui sont là. Petit Brazzaville, ici là. Seulement l'allée de Brazzaville, le boulevard ici là.
Speak minds to come and talk about pertinent issues about Cameroon and even in Africa. He's been doing a fantastic job. You could also be a member to support him monthly. We've seen some people also joined the membership board on Talk with Mimi Mefo. Please continue to do that and spread the word. We also have the Cameroon News Agency YouTube channel. Please keep also sharing and subscribing and be a member there. That's the only way you can also assist us. Just like we heard from Tita speaking a while ago, that he's ready to give whatever support that we need for those who want to support, like massive, small, big, medium, I don't know, but every form of support will be welcomed. This is Beyond Africa Podcast YouTube channel of Bernard Ngalim. You can see, I'm hoping that maybe by the end of today, he should have 10,000 subscribers because we have 20,000 people watching. So if he can have 10,000 subscribers before the end of today, that would really be great. And you can see the fantastic job that he is doing. Also join the membership board on there and support him, you know. Also the Cameroon News Agency. We also have Sandrine's YouTube page that she's building. And you've been seeing the fantastic job that Sandrine has been doing. Also go there and subscribe. Please join and support all of us because we are doing this for all of us and for Cameroonians. And yes, it's very important. Thank you so much, Bernard, for bringing this up. It's very important. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mimi. You know, most people see us talking on the screen, but they don't know the fantastic work that people behind the screens are doing. And for those, we've spoken about the correspondence, but I want to give a special shout out to the technicians who are showing our pages on the screen right now. They're the ones bringing us on the screen, taking us off, bringing the guests off, taking them off. And it's all sacrifice for the nation. It's all because we want to see the nation grow. We want to see our voices heard. And we believe that with you, 21,000 views, almost 23,000 viewers already. It shows that we're on the right track and we are doing the right thing, not only for the nation, for ourselves, and also for Africa. So thank you all so much. And we can come back to our conversations. While this is the page of Cameroon News Agency, I know most of you should know the brain behind that page. That is Hanson For. He's the chief executive officer of that page. He's one of the most renowned Anglophone journalists in Cameroon who was with Equinox TV, and he had to leave because he was reporting alongside Mimi Mefo on the exactitude of the threats Anglophones were facing back in the day, and they were under threat, so they had to leave. And we have found ourselves on this digital platforms that technology has given us to continue doing the work that they were doing. So we are super happy, and thank you so much. Where's my mouse? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mbone. That is not the one I wanted to share. It's gone, but I'll find it. Somebody sent in a contribution and I was trying to put that on the screen. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much to our technicians also for doing the fantastic work, and to our producer who doesn't sleep. He just gets up and runs everything right and straight. Mimi, this is gradually becoming an international news agency. Did you realize that?
Yes, I mean, I just wanted to talk about the level of collaboration between yourself, myself, and for Hansen. Oh wow, thank you so much, Micah. We really appreciate. Thank you, and God bless you. Yes, thank you. Yes, the level of collaboration. You know how we do it. Many people would wonder why we decided to be doing this together, and how far we are ready to go. There are times I will call Bernard at midnight, and Bernard will say, Mimi, the time difference, please take that into account. And I'll be like, oh, sorry, it was just about, our show, we need to do this. It's not been easy, but we kept pushing. We kept pushing, and we have other things that we are doing, but we create time for this to just come and have this conversation because it's important. If we don't do it together, I don't think it can create the level of impact that we've been able to create, Bernard. And I'm so proud of you, Bernard. I have to say this here in front of everyone that you amaze me. Your humility, your professionalism, what you've been able to bring in has changed. It's changed a lot for this production, for this Road to It to the initiative. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done so far. For all the hosts, Hansen 4, it's been amazing. Also, Hansen is always there. Mimi, yes, take me whenever you're ready. We are all together in this. It's like it's a one-man thing. It has nothing. It's no more Mimi Mefo. That's why you see other people presenting and I'm not even there. So please, these faces, mark them, and these platforms, follow them. We also have Lovelyn, who just joined recently. She might be having her own platform soon, but these are people that please keep looking out. Check them out every day and see the great things that they're doing for our country. We also have Bernard. Am I forgetting someone?
For on the screen, people, you've named everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, just the technicians in the background.
Yes, Jadeka, who is doing so fantastic, and yes, and he's the producer of Road to HD. So he's been there from the very beginning, and he's doing really, really fantastic. And also Kingsley, we have Kingsley, who is also working a lot in the background, doing so amazing, and we cannot thank all of them enough. Yes, thank you, everyone. Are, I can't thank you also. Are is always hopping in. I say, Are, we need you now. Please come and let's talk about these issues. Are is not just Project C, but Are is a Lego mind. He is a lawyer. He is a trained like international lawyer. These are people that have made it on the international scene, but they still have our country so much at heart. And when we listen to Are, you can tell that this is someone who really wants things to change for the country, and he's not doing that alone. We also have Eric Chinje. We have Rebecca Enonchong. As soon as you send her the link, she says, yes, I'm coming, Mimi, I'm joining. So it's Sandrine also, Sandrine Yamga, of course. So it's a lot of, we are so many, and yes, we mean so well, and we want to thank all those who are supporting. Thank you all so much. So yes, Bernard, let's continue the conversation.
Yes, thank you, Mimi. I think sometimes it's good to remind ourselves of what we are doing, where we are coming from, and encourage those who are watching us to also see that we are bringing some value to them and they are bringing some value to what we are doing. Because if they're not there, we won't be here. We won't be here. Yeah. So thank them so much. And if you don't have anything to send in to support, please, we are children of God. Just pray for us. Just ask for protection. For us, for the producers, for the correspondents, for the guys, for everyone, so that we carry our nation forward. I also wanted to give a special shout out to Array and Project C, because it's amazing what they're doing in the background, and we continue hoping that things go the way they were. I've forgotten the question I asked Array, but I just want to ask this question.
there is already a lot to talk about, and I'm sorry I was.
Let me ask this other question. The results have been declared today. What is Project C thinking about? I know Project C knew that this was going to be the outcome, come what may. So what is Project C thinking about?
Well, we're saying that to use this word, a luta continua. The fight continues, and maybe even just beginning, right? Because I want to put this in historical context. About 65 years ago, young people gave their blood and sweat for the independence of the country that we call Cameroon. They had dreams, big dreams, of a country that would prosper, a country in which every child that was born would have access to good quality education, healthcare, water. They had traveled the world and seen the rest of the world prospering, building roads and hospitals and skyscrapers. They dreamed of those dreams for Cameroon. They gave their blood and sweat to have this country that we are all proud of, that we're proud of belonging, not necessarily proud of now, but proud of belonging. That was their time. They did what they had to do to fight against the French and British colonialism in our country, and we had independence. That was their time. And we had a unitary government until young people gave their blood and sweat to fight for multi-party democracy. And we had multi-partyism in Cameroon. And through those struggles, we amended the constitution that should have given the president of our country a 2-year term in 1996, through a tripartite process that brought together Cameroonians from all sectors. And yet we still did not see the kind of transformation that we wanted, because a few people decided to amend that constitution and create a president for life. And that is the destiny that has brought us to where we are today. It now behoves on the Cameroonian people to realize that just as we were colonized by the French and the English, so too this moment realize this represents some sort of colonization of the Cameroonian people, because even the will of the people expressed through the legitimate process, which is the electoral process, cannot transform the destiny of a country. It now depends on the Cameroonian people to determine how we move forward. At Project C, again, I repeat, many people told us that you cannot beat this regime through the ballot box. We knew, but we thought we could change the dynamics, and certainly we have changed the dynamics. Certainly we have created a lot more awareness. Certainly we have empowered a lot more people. Certainly the people know that the power resides in them, that sovereignty resides with you, the people of Cameroon. And it is up to you to realize that this is the beginning of a struggle that must not end with this proclamation, but that must lead to the transformation of our country. That you must find all legitimate ways to continue to push forward for the legitimate process that will lead to change in our country. How we do that will largely depend on the engagement of the Cameroonian people. So do not go home today thinking that it's over. I want you to know that you are part of something bigger than yourself, something bigger that should lead to the greatest happiness for the greatest number, as opposed to a process that has essentially given legitimacy to, or legality to, a few who may be happy today, few who may celebrate today, but the vast majority of the Cameroonian people who will stand on the side of the truth, know the truth, and will not give legitimacy to a government that doesn't deserve it.
Thank you so much, Ari. We also have, okay, please go ahead, Professor Nicodemus.
Yes, Ari, I appreciate your historical insight. It's really beautiful. It's just that a point I want to emphasize is that the fighters of our independence, the real patriots who had an ideology, who had a path they designed to follow, were never allowed to govern in the post-colony. Those who were pro-French, those who were ready to lick the boots of the French, those who were ready to sign secret accords which enslaved us, which made us perpetual subjects of the French, were those that inherited the post-colonial state. And so we need to perform some form of sacrifice for those great patriots of us who fought for us, but they never tasted the fruits of independence. Though we now have a continuation of those people who were pro-French, those people who were neo-colonial agents. And so the structure we have is a strictly colonial structure that does not favor the growth of the post-colonial state. So that's why I appreciate your ability to trace the genesis of our nationalism and those who made the sacrifice. The second point also I appreciate you made was this whole idea of reviewing the presidential tenure of office, that it should be limited to 2 years, no renewable. This was, the constitution was adjusted in 28, right?
2008.
Now,
yes.
2008, thank you. Now, this adjustment itself was a fatal blow, and that is where we are today. Because if the tenure of office was limited, we would have been here. And the resistance that Cameroonians put up against that constitutional amendment cost them a lot. Many died on the Wuri Bridge. May their soul rest in peace. And so this whole issue of presidential tenure, which is elastic, has led us into this big mess. But thank you for the wonderful project you are pursuing. We are still optimistic. I indicated from the very beginning that when a change starts, it metamorphoses. We don't know the exact direction. We don't know all the ingredients that are involved in this change. But what is certain, as most of you have indicated, is that this awareness in 2025 is a new type of awareness. It's an unprecedented awareness in the political history of our country. So definitely, this awareness is going to move mountains. And then we should be optimistic and work towards it. This awareness is going to move mountains for all Cameroonians, including those who are clinging to power, including the ruling class. We need this clean change for everybody. If we don't have that change, we are going to perish. There's no doubt about it. If the change doesn't happen, we shall collectively perish. So it's in our interest that we pursue this change vigorously, optimistically. There should be no room for what we call pessimism. No, we should be hopeful, and we should continue to yearn for the very best.
Thank you so much, Professor Nicodemus. I see a lot of people, one person saying that my heart is bleeding for injustice in Cameroon, and another one saying that we are not going to be silent. And Siveng, of course, is not silent because she or he is joining us from the UK. Hello, Siveng Bagnak. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us why you're here and what you have to say to the thousands of people watching?
Hi, I'm a he, by the way. My name is
thank
Siveng
you.
Bagnak.
Thank you, Siveng, for joining.
It's all right.
Thank you.
You've
Welcome.
thank you. You probably noticed by my name that I'm a French speaker, and my accent will probably also denote
Please
that.
speak in French because you have also French speakers.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Let me carry
Okay.
on. If I can't speak fluently, then I will switch over. I normally don't follow the elections or politics in Cameroon, simply because I like to keep my heart in peace, my mind as well. So there's too much going on. But this has been really particular. These elections. And for some reasons, I decided to follow that because I thought that it is going to, we are going to see an end of the presidential rule of the current, the incumbent president, Biya. Unfortunately, it didn't happen so. But what I did, which is I found interesting actually, because for somebody who doesn't follow Cameroon politics, I'm a Cameroonian by the way. So while the elections, the results were being proclaimed, I just jotted down some stats from what I heard from the, I don't know the names, but probably the president of the electoral commissions. I don't know. Maybe I may be wrong. And what I've noticed is that in the regions where, Chiroma won, for instance, in the west region of Cameroon, I noticed that you had almost 40% of people who abstained from voting. In the north, you had roughly 50% who abstained from voting, although he won in those parts of the country. So basically, the percentage or the volume of people who abstained from voting was between, let us say, if I'm a bit cautious, it was between 30 and 50%, even when he won. Now let us flip the coin and put that and try to mirror. Not mirror, but try to apply the same statistics in the regions where President Paul Biya won. So it is obvious that the problem with these elections is not actually that the president, Paul Biya won. The problem lies with Cameroonians themselves. So they shout, they scream, they shout out loud that they want a change, but yet statistics demonstrate that they don't vote. So how are we going to bring change in a country? How are we going to put an end to 43 years of rulership if we don't take the step to make our voice heard? That is the major problem in this statistics. So I spoke with few Cameroonians today, and they told me that basically all those statistics are fake. I said, okay, I can take it. I won't go really into that argument. But we have 10 regions. In 12 days, you can fake the statistics from one person. But there were, I think, 9 candidates. For this to add up, you have to fake the stats for all of them.
Yeah.
So my first impression was this.
Mimi, I think it's important for us to clarify this for Sylvain because people are listening. And I think it's really unfair for the Cameroonian people for that to be said. In very developed democracies, a 40% participation rate is a good rate. So let me commend the Cameroonian people, but I also want Sylvain to pay close attention to the results, right? Do you, Sylvain, know what's happening in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon? Do you see the participation rate in those regions? Can you imagine that in those regions in which it's even difficult to see a goat move on the streets, that you had the highest, that 200,000 people in the Northwest region turn out to vote for President Paul Biya? Does that make logical sense? That at the same time, of the people that turned out to vote, 86% of those votes went to President Paul Biya. Think about it. That's 225,000 votes that if you take, that were fabricated essentially in favor of President Paul Biya. So please, it's incredibly important to surrender to Caesar what is Caesar's. The Cameroonian people did the best that they could. And when you look at those statistics, this is for a registration process. That does not determine the number of people that have died. That does not determine the number of people that have traveled out of the country. That does not. So obviously, if you're keeping a voter record that dates back to 2018 to present, it may be logical that 30 to 40% of that.
Even 2011, because we have people that have changed regions and their names appear in Bamenda, whereas they are in Garoua.
Yeah. So let's be very clear. This is not about the Cameroonian people. They did everything that they could to, even if you have 10% or 20%, look at the United States. The participation, Cameroon has much to show the United States if you look only at the turnout. So people turned out. it's incredibly important not to put this on the backs of the Cameroonian people. They did what they could. The only people that have bear responsibility for where we are, let us be very clear. It is the regime in place which manifestly, evidently, we saw it fraudulent. Can you imagine? I don't know whether you know where Kumba is. And
please, if you allow me to comment, because you've said a lot of things. You've said a lot of things, and I will also ask one of Mimi's questions. So, please don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I don't dismiss the fact that it's not just the Paul Biya government, but even in terms of Aidjo government, we've always had a repressive government in place in Cameroon. Falsified elections, that's not a new thing in Cameroon. I do not support the practices of this government. I think to rule a country at age 92, please, I think that's not on. But this is my point, and I'll come back to what I said before. Mimi said some people live in one part of the country and their name appear in a polling vote, in a polling how do you call it, vote or bureau, yes, a polling station elsewhere. That has nothing to do with fraud. It could be, but it doesn't demonstrate fraud. I can be living here and then register and be registered to a polling vote and then move to another place. If I don't deregister myself from the previous place and re-register myself in the new place, it is not the government responsibility, it is my responsibility. But that doesn't necessarily demonstrate that there is fraud. So we have to look into those things with some balance.
Okay, Mr. Steven, when did the elections governing body Elecam release the entire list of the electorates after the votes took place?
Yes, I can't really answer those questions.
I'm now telling you that the electorates, the official list of voters, Bernard, I might be wrong, but that is the fact. The electorates were only the official list were only released after the votes had taken place on the 12th of October, I think 2 days after the 12th of October.
Mimi?
So people didn't even get that information. And some people are not, they don't move because they want to, maybe because of the war. Particularly, I received a lot of messages from Anglophones. They didn't even have the information. Bernard, you want to come in?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the electoral code of Cameroon, not the electoral code, the electoral register of Cameroon is not credible by any measure. It's not credible by any measure because, as you have already said, it was lately, it has never even been released. It is following the same procedure that they asked people to go to the website and check. But Article 80 says that it should be released, it should be published. As I already said, there is no system of recording deaths and movements in Cameroon, so there is no way it can be released. For the electoral system, for the electoral register to be considered as the fundamental starting block, it needs to be erased and remade from scratch. Because the way it is now, nobody knows the exact number of registered voters. Nobody knows the exact number of polling stations. Nobody knows the exact number of people who even voted at the elections. So it's difficult for us at any point to blame any other person apart from those managing the elections. The responsibility for anything around the elections falls on those who manage the elections. Citizens could take blame in a system where they believe that the system operates fairly and well. I hosted Henry Oben yesterday. He's an international elections expert. He worked with Elecam for a very long time. And what he told me was, there is no credibility on that. The first thing he said was, Cameroonians don't trust the electoral management system. That is the first point. You cannot impose trust. Trust is earned. The electoral management system needs to earn the trust. Let's imagine for 1 second that Cameroonians trusted the system. Those who trusted the system voted, and those who did not trust the system did not vote. Let's blame those who did not vote. Is the outcome of the vote representative of what we saw on social media of the data that has been collated. Chiruma has published original result sheets from polling stations. Do we still want to blame Cameroonians for the poor outcome? What this tells me is that irrespective of how the elections are organized, Elecam is still going to declare the results they want to declare. Constitutional Council Elecam, they're the same people. The government is still going to declare the results they want to declare because from the Divisional Supervisory Commission, there is no control. Henry insisted in the other episode that I had him, the 48 hours after the closure of the polling stations and the start of the Supervisory Commission meeting is when the magic happens. That is why the CPDM was not publishing their results sheets. They sat on them, seeing the trends, and then they know how to cook them. Remember, before this election, they always said that if you win the North, the 3 northern regions, you win the elections. But this election, they say if you win the rural areas, you win the elections. So it's a question of credibility. It's not a question of voters. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me just add that.
Yes,
I think we have, maybe Steven was not part of the conversations that took place in the lead up to the proclamation of the results. But these issues and questions have been completely litigated publicly, absolutely litigated publicly. We at Project B, I tell you, got involved in this 15 weeks ago. 15 weeks we mobilized people, we communicated with people in rural areas, we pushed people to register, to get their voters cards, we mobilized young people to be involved in this process, to take their destiny into their hands. These people responded in ways that this government never imagined. People participated in the process. My only point here, Steven, is that let us not insult the intelligence of the Cameroonian people, because they did what they had to do legitimately. I'm one of those people. I've always stood up for Cameroon and always believed in a legal and legitimate process and peaceful process to bring change in Cameroon. That's my brand. That's what I've always done. I gave everything of my time to encourage people to be part of the process, and people did participate in this process. The question of whether there was fraud in this, nobody else has been accused. Nobody has pointed a finger at any other political formation for being fraudulent in the process. And so it is documented, it is proven that the only people that orchestrated fraud during this electoral process is the CPDM for its candidate, Paul Biya. And whether you look at those statistics, which are a fabrication of the imagination of the National Vote Counting Commission, it is not representative, I repeat, not representative of the results that were published in polling stations provided by the Constitution, by the Electoral Code itself. It says that the results are published at polling stations. So the results published today are shamefully not a reflection of the will of the Cameroonian people. And how do we call this a country? How do we call this a democracy? How do we call this people living together in a civilized society when theft, because that's robbery, that's exactly what has been manifested in this electoral process. And it is painful, it is shameful for us as a country to even make any attempt to justify what we have just experienced. It's repugnant to good conscience. And
would you allow me to come in, please? Mr. Seven, yes, just come in briefly so that we can take Solange, who has also joined us.
All right, thank you so much. First of all, Ere, we all share the pain. I want to reiterate that I'm not in any shape or form trying to insult the willingness or the efforts of the Cameroonians to change what is going on the political atmosphere in Cameroon. So we are all hurt. Well,
if you are hurt, then you should talk about the people who committed the fraud, the people who created crimes.
No, please. And this is exactly
incredibly important. I think this will make
exactly the point.
good
No,
television.
no,
But it's
this is exactly the point,
for
because
you to go down on record condemning what has just been taken place against the Cameroonian people.
Listen,
we can.
I don't know whether there is. I mean, there might be, but I can only speak for myself.
Okay.
I do not condone really the political practices in Cameroon. I do not condone that. And I said that I prefer to, I mean, I would have loved to see a change of regime. But what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to be objective. I'm not trying to analyze that with emotions. Now, we talk about elections that have been rigged. No dispute about it. I don't want to go into that argument, because if I say no, I wouldn't have any proof to demonstrate that. If I say yes, I won't have any proof to demonstrate that.
If you joined MMI today, it's because you have been following, right? We
Yes,
have
I mean,
documented over the past few weeks, days, we've proven to Cameroonians at home and abroad beyond reasonable doubt that the elections were rigged, that there were election malpractices, that there was fraud in different regions of the country, that people were threatened, people were beaten, the votes were stolen in some regions. So we've brought all the facts here. We did about 3 live shows presenting those figures, presenting those proofs to Cameroonians. So when you say you don't know, but
because I have been following, but can I give you an example? Let us look at the
but now I am
electoral.
telling you that we have all the proofs.
Okay,
or you want us to go back to the past?
Okay, can I give you an example from the result I hear today? In the electoral, Chiroma won by 64%. I mean, I round it up to 65%. He won by 65%. Paul Biya had 21%. Abstention 50%. Was that rigged or not?
In the littoral region?
Yes.
Ari, give me a moment.
Yes, okay. Bernard. Yes.
Sylvain.
So please let me conclude. Let me conclude my point. Let me conclude.
Conclude. Let him conclude. Conclude, Sylvain.
This is my point. This is my point. My point is this: our people must understand that to make change, it is not by demonstrating or by exercising violence on the street, but it is by attacking the policies that will make change. And I salute what Mr. Nicodemus through Awonsum said. He said, will not be discouraged. In other words, the pursuit for a change must continue, but the right way. So we cannot continue to just complain and moan about the wrong practices of the government, but we must continue to attack the policies of those governments that never cease to ignore the will of the population.
Thank you, Sylvain.
That's it. Yeah.
How should Cameroonians attack those policies that the government is using and they are not happy with them?
There are various ways. Tell us the ways. Okay. I mean, we have elected people in the parliament, but this is the problem: is that even though we
I don't want to. You have highlighted the problem. What are the ways Cameroonians should use to attack those policies?
So the normal way to it is to have elected people in the parliament who do that on behalf of the people. But
do you think Cameroonians trust the electoral process in Cameroon?
This has nothing to do with electoral process.
No. You say Cameroonians should elect and rely on those people. Do you think Cameroonians trust the electoral process? And so, because if you don't trust the process, you cannot trust the outcome. If you don't trust the electoral process, you cannot trust those who have been elected. So do you think Cameroonians trust that electoral process?
No one, and I am part of those one. I do not trust the electoral process. But this is what I'm saying. Whether you have a Chiroma or a Cabral Libri in the parliament, or you have a Joshua in the parliament, those are people that are elected to go there and voice the opinion of the
National Assembly.
If you don't trust those who are in parliament, how would you trust that they would voice your complaint?
Okay, how would you then engineer change? Because they are there to represent.
Thank you. You have used. I asked you the strategies to attack the policies. You said elections. You have said elections.
No, I didn't say
trust the electoral
I
process.
What
is another strategy?
Elected people.
What is another strategy?
Pardon?
What is another strategy?
I mean, I've mentioned about attacking policies.
How do you attack the policies? That's what I'm asking. How do you attack the policies?
How do you attack a policy in a government? How do you attack? But you do.
Tell us. You are the one to tell us. How do you attack the policies? Tell us.
I've just told you. Through your elected people in the parliament.
Do you believe Cameroonians trust the electoral process that leads to those people who are in parliament?
But I mean, why? I mean, I can't see the link. I can't see the link, because if you don't trust the person that you sent into the parliament to represent your voice, why do you elect him in the first place?
Sylvain, are you refusing to listen to your own words? You have said the elections is a problem. You don't trust the electoral process. So yes. How would you trust the person who has been elected into the parliament?
Yeah. Listen, how do you trust? No, you trust the person because you are part. I mean, you are there to the party of the person. So
let me also ask a question.
Let me finish.
Let me ask a question. The parliament has been there. The parliament has been there for many years, and even the Senate has been there. What concrete changes have these two institutions brought to Cameroon? The parliament, the Senate.
You see, that those questions I can't answer just by the face of it. Why? Because when you look at how Cameroon, at the current position of Cameroon, things have gone down, things have declined. Now, if you ask me what specific change has been made, I can't answer specifically because I don't know what they've done concretely. They may say that we've changed this and that, but I don't see the outcome of the policy.
I just have one final question before you go, because we have other people coming in. You said that people should not go to the streets and they should not be violent. Are you saying that if one woman who was shot and killed in Garua and the 4 young men who were killed in Douala yesterday were violent because we saw that they went out to protest peacefully, are you saying they were shot because they were violent?
This is not what I claimed. This is I repeat my words. I didn't say people should not go on the street. I said people should not be violent.
They have never been. They were not violent. But on that note, let us.
But how do you say? How do you know that? How do you know that?
Yes, you are not the only person on the panel, please. You are not the only person on the panel, please. We have other people.
Just one observation. Are you aware of the fact that it's impossible, with the way ELECAM and the electoral code is designed, it's impossible to beat the CPDM at its game? Are you aware of that fact? Thank you.
I can't answer your question because I don't know how the elections are structured. I mean, how ELECAM structured.
But you're speaking so much like someone who knows how it's structured.
Sylvain, it was nice. Sylvain, it was nice having you on the program. You cannot make arguments, and then when you're asked questions about the arguments, you say you cannot say to that because you are ignorant of the arguments you are making. That is definitely wasting our time and wasting the time of viewers. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. I think you've also made claims that you don't back up because you.
Sylvain, technicians, can we have Sylvain up? Can we have Sylvain off the screen? Thank you very much, Sylvain. We hope to have you next time. Solange Chair, you are welcome to this platform where we're discussing the elections in Cameroon. You've been following from the background and you've been having a lot of input on your podcast. You can be anything. You can be everything podcast. And you've lived the experience in Cameroon. You're now out of Cameroon. What are your impressions about the elections and the way forward?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Mimi, I've sung your praises all over the place.
Hi, Solange. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I do appreciate the work that you people do. We know what it takes to be able to do stuff like this. So thank you all so much, Project C. Big up to you guys. So again, it's a day of emotions. I don't know why anybody would think that Cameroonians will not be emotional. So to every Cameroonian out there who feels emotional, I just want to remind you that your emotions are very legit. It is an emotional day for every Cameroonian, regardless of where you are. We have followed this and we have hoped and prayed. They say faith without works is futile. But we know that Cameroonians have tried this time. And Mr. Benson, this is something that I stand with you on, to give Cameroonians their flowers. I'm one person that has always spoken out and said, hey, Cameroonians, we cannot talk about change if we do not act on it. And this time around, even though so many Cameroonians failed to register, but we can all see that the people tried their best. They showed up, they spoke out, and it's something that we've not seen in Cameroon for a very long time. So I also add my voice to the fact that Cameroonians tried this time. They did better than they've ever done, and that must be acknowledged. With the way things have gone, one thing we know for sure is I talked about the Constitutional Council a couple of days ago. And when we hear people saying that, oh, the people's vote and all of that, we all know what the Constitutional Council is made of. We all know who signs that final decree for who should be on there. Sadly enough, today we watched our screens and we saw people who could barely read out numbers telling us our elections. Gosh, my heart is shaking. To think that Cameroon's population is made up of youths, and we watch our screens today, and the people that are reading numbers cannot even call numbers correctly. It's so disheartening. And we saw the one thing that struck me is what happened in the North and Southwest regions. But now my question that I'm throwing out to you people as we all ponder about this and see what happens next is, why do you think that the international bodies seem to be ignoring this? We have shown them all the evidence. We have put out everything there that shows that these elections, that everything, all those procès verbaux, the things they call it, we've brought these things out. Northwest and Southwest, we can see clearly that the numbers in these two regions in particular are so wrong. Why isn't, let's say that the regime doesn't even listen to the people. Again, I don't like France. And again, I'm not scared to tell anybody this. But is it that the rest of the international bodies are afraid of Macron and France? They don't want to step on their toes? Do they not just care about Cameroon? Or is it that they don't have a vested interest to come and help us pull this thing out? Because it seems like as Cameroonians in Cameroon, Biya is just going to play his same playbook. And this thing is just going to go. It scares me. And that's why I'm on here today. What are you people thinking? What happens next? Just share your thoughts, please.
Yes, Are, would you want to come in? Because
Yes.
Solange is talking about international bodies and intervention.
Yeah. Let me just say to everybody that the international community will only respond or react to what Cameroonians do. Unfortunately, this is the reality. Since we were all reporting, asking people to send information to international media and organizations and governments, the first time that news was picked up on these elections in Cameroon was when the first two people died. That is how the world responds, unfortunately. That we were demonstrating that there was an ongoing rigging, massive rigging of the electoral process. And unfortunately, the first news items about really what was happening in Cameroon was a lot more about two people killed as a result of that. The point that I'm trying to make is that we no longer live in a world where, because geopolitics has changed significantly, we no longer live in a world where which is as interventionist or as philosophically divided as it used to be before. We're seeing what has happened in Ukraine and how long that has been going on. We're seeing what has happened in our very own country with the Anglophone crisis and how the international community has looked the other way. We're seeing what's happening in Sudan and still how people are dying, and that's been being ignored by the international community. So maybe That's not necessarily where our salvation is going to come from. But I also know that we, the Cameroonian people, at home and abroad, we have to find ways in which we bring change to our country. We have to think creatively. There's a quote from Abraham Lincoln, so many times I'm brought down to my knees because we must think anew of what the future holds, because the dogmas of the past can no longer determine how we move forward, right? We cannot rely on the same old things that we obtained in the future, but let's bring all our skill sets, all our talents to the table to think about creative. There's diplomatic ways that we must approach this. There are economic initiatives that we can take. All of this, think about a cancer, and that cancer, how do you choke the cancer tumor to death? It's exactly the same thing we must be thinking of. Are there economic paths that we can take? Are there political paths that we can take? Are there diplomatic paths that we can take? Is there an engagement of the people, a path that we can take? Because the legal means that we had through the ballot box has been deprived of the people. We now have to think creatively about how we empower the people to ensure that this regime comes down. Yes, maybe the international community will have a role to play, but we cannot put all our bets in that one basket.
Yes, so yes, we have Sandrine who has just joined us with Lovelyn, so that I can take a brief coffee break. Sandrine and Lovelyn, welcome on board. We have Solange who is here with us, and Ari Obenson from Project C. Solange is it's a social media influencer, a Cameroonian who is so concerned about what is happening. She was just asking and saying that the country is bleeding and that Cameroonians are in pain. We could also hear from her voice that she feels so sad, like many Cameroonians watching this live stream at the moment. But she was just questioning why the world is so silent about what is happening, and Ari was responding. And we have Professor Nicodemus through our Zoom. He has been here with us since we started this live stream, and he's been so insightful. So you can continue the conversation. Bernard is in and out as well. Because I think that he also needs a brief break before he comes back. And I will just take a coffee break and also come back very, very shortly. So you both welcome. And yes, over to you both now.
Welcoming me again on the show. Thank you so much. I got Solange. Solange, you are welcome on the show this day. Also, so happy with Professor Nicodemus. He's been a good resource person. I just want to say that all those parts. Hello, Sandrine.
Hi. Good morning, Lovelyn. Bonjour, Are. Hello, Solange and Professor Nicodemus. Good morning.
So I just want to say that all what has been said, all those parts that have been put on the table, there's nothing that we are throwing away now if we want to change in Cameroon. So everything that's been said, it just needs to be examined. Diplomacy. There was one moment we had a meeting or a training in Douala on the site of a training, excuse me. I was like asking a question, why does it take long for a body like the United Nations to react when it comes to something? I was talking at that time because there was a case in Cameroon where a father was always abusing the children, sexually. And the wife took the matter to court and said she went to the United Nations and they say there was not enough evidence. So I was asking, somebody told me on the sidelines, or let me just say off mic or off camera, that those things like that, they go along with interest. My question now, and also Solange, will be, what is that thing that we need to propose to the international bodies for them? Hey, Prof, what is that thing that we need to propose to them for them to come to our aid? That is now the question.
Quick thing, Sandra. I think Ari answered that question, and I think it quite aligns with what, if you're looking at this from past experiences, from history, right? International bodies will not jump in if they don't see what Cameroonians are doing. So that aligns. I did like that response you gave, Mr. Ray, that if Cameroonians, they will come in if Cameroonians do something for themselves. And this is where it feels like it always chokes us. Like, hey, what are we going to do? This is today. Everybody wants to know what is going to happen. What are we thinking? What are the options that we have based on what we have heard today? And that is where this thing lies. And the question now goes out. International bodies are not going to save Cameroon. They don't have a particular vested interest that they will say, hey, if we come in and kick this person, if these people have their own interest. So if they don't have a specific vested interest, they are not just going to jump in, except they really see that there is some level of humanitarian, whatever is happening, that they'll come in. So it now stays in the hands of Cameroonians. And this is where everything is just bleak. Now people are on the street. Some people, we saw the pictures earlier on that Mimi shared. There is ghost town. Does this mean that people will stay in and not go to work and not do anything at all if they are not hurt? Or does it mean that they are staying in
Even classes in Yaoundé, people didn't go to school.
No,
Even in Yaoundé, people didn't go to school.
Yeah, so for how long, right? Is that a strategy, or are people going to come back on the streets? So I think the main thing that when some of us are watching and looking, we are wondering what is happening, what is the next step? Are people going to go out and riot? Are people going to lock themselves indoors and say, hey, we are not coming out if people don't give us the right results? So that's the temperature. The now and the what is happening after today is really where most of our hearts are, that we are looking for information and guidance on.
I think if I can come in, you've spoken very brilliantly. And the point is that Cameroonians have to take their destiny in their hands. As we're speaking, the crowd in Douala has stormed New Bell and the prisoners are coming out. Now, what does this mean? Yeah, what does this mean? It tells us that it is us and us and us who have to liberate ourselves. The other question which came up, what can we use to flatter, to attract the international community to become interested in our matter? Now, it's a tricky question and also a dangerous question. We may ask ourselves this question: how does the Biya regime succeed to perpetuate itself in power? One of the things they do is that they sign juicy contracts with multinationals who now promise to allow them to be there as long as possible, as long as they continue to bleed their country in their favor. And so the thing is very high. And remember that international relations is also constructed on racism. Who is a black man? A black man is a sheet of paper. He says that to be exploited. So to answer your question, what can we offer to the international community that is attractive and will make them to help us? We're not going to negotiate to sell our country. We're not going to negotiate to sell our oil, our timber, our this to them. No. The point is, as we fight and we fight, they might find reason to come in to negotiate with a possible winner. But if we fold our arms and we sit, they're not going to come in. So what do? I join what you just said. It's a domestic matter in terms of fighting out our issue, using multiple methods at our disposal. In that way, the international community will try to look at the possible winner and they will rush in, not to help because they want to help us, not because they are philanthropic, but because they want to be on the winning side. So at the end of the day, it still comes down, it boils down to us. So that's the way I look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate your post response. Sandrine, except you have a question for me, I can leave so that other people.
Okay, yeah, I just have a quick question. So, it seems like maybe we were expecting what was supposed to be done today. So, what do you think can happen in the days ahead?
again, I've given a couple of scenarios when I analyze this whole political situation this week. And one of the scenarios which I see unfolding in front of my eyes is what is happening today. The fact that Mr. Biya gets proclaimed as president again. And we've all experienced that. We've seen that happen. Now, it all boils down to the streets. I made about 3 videos, all in which I was talking to the military, because I personally believe that we've seen that Biya's lifeline is the military. There I saw a general somewhere in the north that was saying, hey, we are apolitical, we do not do politics. That made me happy, but that was one person. And now the question goes, will the military let Cameroonians go out on the streets and do their things? Because Biya is not coming on the street, or not even at Tanganji, is coming on the streets to shoot people. They are using our own brothers and sisters to do this to us. And the question still goes out. So many people have written letters addressed to the military. Can you people stand on our side? Because if the military stands on the side of the people, one thing is clear, we'll go through this. However they call it a military coup d'etat. I don't care what they call it, but the people that are going to help us go through this will be the military. If we do not succeed in having the empathy of the military, this is going to be hard. I am an optimist. I always hear Rebecca Idonchang say that. I don't know if she's as optimistic as I am, but I am an optimist that this thing can happen. But then, what will be the effects? What will be the impact of it? So many people have told us that change does not just come on a platter of gold. Change comes with some pain and some blood. That's what so many times, we've all seen this happen, right? So today, what I expect the people not to accept this, because I personally, I have not accepted it. I have not. But I also know that this is only going to happen for real if we have the military. If we have the military, I don't know how we can communicate with these people so they can understand that our plight is also their plight. I don't know why they don't get it. And this all boils down to the whole fact that our Cameroon is run on loyalty, not on competence. People are loyal. They're just respecting what they are told, not because they don't believe in what they are doing. And that's a big problem that we have in Cameroon. So again, if I tell you, Sandrine, that I expect that I know what is going to happen, I am lying to you. But I also know that as many Cameroonians out there, I refuse to accept these results. I don't know what I can do apart from sit here and talk. But I also know yesterday I was out protesting in my own little corner in where I'm located, because I know that I have to do my own civic thing. But at this moment, for someone like me, my hands are tied, but I still call on the people. This is not our right result, and we all know it. We've been cheated, but what can we do? And I put it out there. My message goes out. The main people are the military. I wish I could just whisper in the ears of the generals and say, people, hear our cry. Please do not answer to the regime, answer to the people.
They are listening to you for sure.
I wish they can just hear us.
Yeah.
Like it is not the regime. It is the Cameroonian people, your siblings, your children, your parents. These are the people you're going out there to shoot.
Thank you.
These other people have kept their families safe. And the people that are protesting for their country are the ones that you're killing. So if you can just listen to us and stand with us, we're all looking forward to a better Cameroon. So that's all I have to share for now.
Thank you, Solange. Merci beaucoup, Solange. So I just wanted to ask you, Professor Nicodemus, are you sharing the same vision than Solange? So thinking that the military need to get in the situation, but do you believe in that?
Let me put it this way. Change is made up of a concatenation of factors. You can't have one factor that will bring about change. For now, we see that the principal motor of change is made up of the people. For the first time, the people have moved to New Bell, they've thrown open the gates, they've liberated people. Now, I'm trying to say that power is in the hands of the people. That's point number one. Point number two, I spoke about the Issa Chiruma fever, which has caught the whole country. It has caught the military. It has caught the government party. It has caught even Mr. Biya. it has caught the Constitutional Council. Everybody is shaking from the Chiruma fever. That's a very powerful force. And I'm sure that all of that will come together, will bring about a configuration of new forces that will favor change. So we can't just rely or count, because the military belongs to everybody. The military does not belong to the government exclusively, it belongs to everybody. So let's look at the forces of change. Let's look at the forces of change in its entirety. And let's not just focus on the military, because the military is not owned by anybody. Apparently, the government is controlling the military, but the military belongs to the people. That's supposed to serve the people. And we look at demonstrations in Douala.
Definitely, they're not answering the people.
With the people trying to ensure that they don't get into excesses. That's the very powerful signal. That's not like Cameroon. This Cameroon 2020, Cameroon in the past, because the military will not brutal, open fire, and so on and so forth. So it's a change even in the whole physiognomy of the military today. So let's look at change in terms of a collectivity, not in terms of a class, a caste, a profession, or something of that sort.
Okay. Aro Benson, I will ask my question to you. I don't know if Solange wants to leave already.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you. We're happy to having you, and then we hope to have you another time.
My pleasure.
Thanks, and have a good day.
Let me have a coffee break, please.
Sure. So I have a quick question for you, Aro Benson. OK, alors, on y est. Je pense c'est un scénario qu'on pensait arriver depuis la fin des travaux de la Commission nationale de recensement général des votes. Je pense qu'on s'attendait à ce que le Conseil constitutionnel déclare M. Issa Chiroma Bakary vainqueur. Alors, comme je demandais aux autres, à quoi est-ce qu'on peut s'attendre dans les prochains jours?
Malheureusement, la réponse à cette question revient au peuple camerounais. Ils ont donné ce qu'ils devraient donner. Ils ont respecté la loi, ils ont participé à une élection. Et nous avons tous assisté à cette mascarade qui s'est passée cet après-midi au Cameroun, où la Cour constitutionnelle, avec l'appui du régime en place, a effectivement silencié la voix des Camerounais. Alors, comme je le dis toujours, la souveraineté revient au peuple camerounais. Le peuple camerounais doivent, à ce moment, comprendre que le combat pour un changement, un nouveau Cameroun, vient de commencer. Il y aura plusieurs niveaux, plusieurs initiatives, mais c'est un combat qui vient de commencer, effectivement. Un combat que j'ai lié même à la lutte pour l'indépendance pour notre pays. Cette fois-ci, c'est la libération de notre pays qui est prise en otage par une minuscule groupe de personnes qui sont privilégiées, et au détriment de tout le reste. Je ne peux pas dire exactement comment ça va se passer, mais on sait toujours quand une révolution commence, on ne sait jamais quand ça va terminer et par quel moyen. J'utilise toujours l'exemple de ce qui s'est passé en 2017 avec ce problème anglophone qui pouvait être résolu, qui n'a pas été résolu, que presque ignorer ce que les gens revendiquaient. Ils ont ignoré ça et on se retrouve ici. Maintenant, voilà encore une situation où le président Biya, parce qu'il s'agit du président Biya, c'est lui qui est responsable de tout ce qui se passe, ignore encore une fois ce que les Camerounais sont en train de dire. Ils ont envoyé un message très fort, un message éloquent, soit disant qu'il veut un changement dans notre pays. Malheureusement, encore, le président Biya et sa bande ignorent encore ce qu'ils ont dit. Et je pense que maintenant, il ne reste pas de moyens pour les revendications. Ça revient naturellement au peuple camerounais. Et je vais aussi dire, les revendications dans un pays n'est pas, c'est comme quand les gens disent on veut la paix. Non, les revendications, c'est un processus dans tous les pays du monde, même dans les dictatures. Les gens, parce que chaque pays est constitué par des individus, par des peuples, les gens ont le droit, ils ont la responsabilité de militer pour un changement, de descendre sur les rues quand ils ne sont pas contents, de manifester quand ils ne sont pas contents avec l'évolution des choses. Donc, on ne sait pas comment ça va se passer, mais ce qui est sûr est qu'il y a un mécontentement dans le pays. Ce qui est sûr est qu'une grande partie de ce pays, Cameroun, n'est pas d'accord avec ce qui se passe, ce qu'ils ont vu aujourd'hui. C'est pour ces raisons que les gens ne sont pas dans les rues pour célébrer leur victoire. Pourquoi les gens sont dans les rues pour manifester contre cette décision? C'est clair, c'est évident, mais on ne sait pas ce que demain va apporter pour le Cameroun.
Yeah.
Vivre le quotidien.
Do you think that the citizen or the people, I think that they are already sent a message to the government. So there is a lot of protestation. There is a lot of how can I say that, administrative buildings that are being burned at this time. So it's not that already a message that the citizen are sending to the actual president, and then do you think that President Biya can maybe come out and say something to them, or what do you think?
Well, again, so if history is anything that we can go by, we know that President Paul Biya is very, very adamant when he takes a position and hardly changes his position until we see people dying, until we see destruction, and I don't know why that has to be the case. This is the same process that we went through to get multipartism. 6 people died on the day that the SDF was launched. Why must we lose lives to be able to move our country forward? He prides himself as having brought democracy to Cameroon. Is this the democracy that President Paul Biya wanted to bring to Cameroon? Democracy that is plagued with fraud and rigging of elections and people dying on the streets. The message is loud, it's clear. Any deaf person could have heard this message, yet President Paul Biya doesn't hear the message that has been sent to him. Because if he had, he would have been humble. We addressed a letter to President Paul Biya. In that letter, we said to him that President Paul Biya came to power through a peaceful transition process, and that nobody had to lose their life or property destroyed for that transition to take place. This was his opportunity to return the favor back to the country and make sure that this doesn't happen. What is happening now, shouldn't happen. Yes, we were naive to believe that a resounding victory of the people will lead to this regime to humble itself and stand on the side of truth. We believed in that naivety. We were audacious in our naivety because we felt that the people's message would be heard so loud and clear that even the deaf would hear. But unfortunately, it's proving that it wasn't, and will not be. So at this point, as I keep saying, it comes down to the people of Cameroon to make a decision on the next chapter of the history of our country.
Yeah, thank you. Lovelyn?
Yep. I thank God we still have Ari here. There's something that I've really been thinking about. We know before these elections, before even the registration was closed, after that campaigns, before elections and after elections, the church has been playing a very important role, especially the Roman Catholic Church. They call for transparency, they call for truth. We even got a reverend father who said it earlier that even if it is a devil, let the devil take over first. Then we'll see what happens after. What do you think the church will do now, given what is happening in Cameroon, or given the after effect or aftermath of the result that have still proclaimed incumbent winner? What role do you think that the church can play at this moment? We are already getting information that some people have died again today. Yesterday we lost souls. Today we've lost some again. How can the church come in at this moment, to help calm down the situation, bringing order, satisfying Cameroonians?
Yeah. I believe that this is a moment that calls for great unity, that calls for all sectors of society to join forces to build the kind of country that we want to see. That's what I believe. The church is a key component of how we move forward as a country. We cannot only pray and hope for divine intervention. We must act, and then divine intervention will support our course of action. Unfortunately, that is the only way. And the church has probably one of the largest audiences in Cameroon. And when we say the church here, we refer also to this is not only about the Christian church. We refer to the church to include all religious bodies that engage with people on a daily basis, that many thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of Cameroonians begin their day in a church. And so the church has a role to play here to ensure that Cameroonians stay engaged in this process. Many may think, some would want to assume that maybe this is the end, this is finality. I really encourage people to say,
surely
this must be the beginning.
We are expecting Harry. Well, we'll talk about the church. I think Ramos is there since he's been online, and we are right here. We'll develop the church in a while again, Harry. Let's take Ramos. Ramos, hello, welcome on board.
Hi, good morning from my end.
Good morning.
Hello, Ramos. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I just have a quick question for you. What is your opinion on everything that is going on in Cameroon now?
Okay, first of all, I appreciate you guys for putting endless time, working overtime without pay. It's really a huge sacrifice. People taking turns, sleepless night. It's something which it really shows that we want change. Now, based on my opinion as a Cameroonian, what is happening in Cameroon? It is something which we cannot remove the regime through the ballot, because from the Constitutional Council to the electoral body and everything is controlled by the regime. We are talking about the international communities. The international communities cannot help us if we can't help ourselves. Power is not given it is taken. Freedom is not given, it is taken. We all knew the outcome, what the Constitutional Council was going to say, and this is it. We know it. Nobody was doubting it. We knew that. But I have two questions, because now the risks that our president, because I believe that Chiruma is the president, whether Comrin comes on, the risks that he's facing now, several attempts for him being abducted. What are some of the mechanisms that have been put in place? Is there any other person, any spokesperson, in case he's being arrested, that can give further instruction to the people on how to go about it? Because the power that Chiruma is having, whatever he says, the people are going to follow. And as the situation stands now, the government is so desperate to get him either alive or dead. That is my first question. What are the mechanisms that have been put in place? Is there anybody that they can say, okay, if something happens today, that person is ready to take over, that the people are going to listen to, that the people are going to follow, that they can give an instruction like what he said, go out and protest, and they showed up. Because we have trusted him since from the time when they came with an offer to say, we want you to be the prime minister. He said, I cannot betray my people. That is my first question.
Mm-hmm.
And,
okay, you have your second question?
Yeah, go ahead. You can answer that.
Oh, honestly, I'm not the expert here. I'm thinking that maybe Aris can come and then maybe try to answer to your question. But I think that if you have your two questions, you can just like throw them to us, and then I think the live is still going on. We might have Rebecca in option coming soon. Mr. Ari can answer to your question. Then maybe Lovin and I will try to give you some insight, but
no, Sandrine,
we are
I was
not
not
the
like
experts here for sure.
I was just about to tell him that Issa Chiroma spoke by saying that even if they kill him, he will liberate the country by every means. Those were his words this morning. So he probably knows how he will do. He probably knows that even if he's being picked up today, he knows how to fill in to make the struggle to continue. Mm-hmm.
And my number two,
it's not everything, it's not everything that he will surely say it out. It will like letting the cat out of the bag.
And my number two question is, now that Mr. Biya has been announced the president of Cameroon, which we all knew, like I said, that was what is going to happen because their taste for power, they are willing to hold the power at all costs. They don't mind about the people. The regime doesn't respect international law. The regime doesn't respect human life and whatever. Now, what is the way forward for Cameroonians to take back their freedom by force? It is not by going to the court or going away, because nobody in Africa has ever took back power by court, because it is controlled by the same system. That is what Cameroonians are waiting for. What is the way forward? What are they going to do? What are the mechanisms in place? People are going out to protest. Is there a legal team that can secure their release? People are being shot. Like right now, I just watched, tanks are rolling out. That is how the Anglophone crisis started. And the Cameroonians are willing to take back power. 43 years is not 43 days. Since I was born, I was hearing about Biya till now. I'm still hearing about Biya.
Thank you, Ramos. Thank you so much for coming up and then share your question and then your opinion with us. We appreciate it. So we will try to have someone to maybe go on that, and then I think that our expert said so. It is something that even if you knew that the Constitutional Council will say that Biya won, people are not happy, and then this is something that we can see. Everyone can see that on the field. So thank you to you, and then Very wish you a good day. Maybe we can try to have someone else who would like to speak to us and then maybe share his opinion while we are waiting for another expert and maybe political men of civil society that can come up to them. And I think the technical team maybe can try to go to that way. So, si on a des personnes qui veulent réagir à ce qui se passe aujourd'hui, à la situation au Cameroun, je pense que vous êtes les bienvenus. Je ne sais pas comment est-ce que ça se passe avec l'équipe technique, mais vous êtes les bienvenus à laisser vos messages, à laisser vos opinions et nous allons nous faire le plaisir de les partager ici. En attendant, bien évidemment, d'avoir d'autres experts qui vont arriver, d'avoir d'autres probablement hommes ou femmes politiques ou ceux de la société civile pour discuter avec nous de la situation actuelle au Cameroun. En ce moment, des tensions sont enregistrées pratiquement dans beaucoup de villes, notamment dans la ville de Douala, du côté de l'Ouest Cameroun, où on a eu des images tout à l'heure montrant à Bafan, notamment où le palais de justice a été incendié. Un des commissariats a été attaqué et le siège d'élection Cameroun du côté de Banja, pas loin de Bafan, a également été incendié. Du côté de Douala également, il y a eu des tirs dans certaines parties de la ville, des manifestations aussi, des populations qui continuent de réclamer la vérité sortie des urnes. Il y a également que des barricades ont été érigées par des populations à plusieurs endroits de la ville. On a également aperçu tout à l'heure des prisonniers, dans des personnes qui sont dans la prison de Newbel en train d'être sorties de toutes parts. Qui en est l'instigateur. Il est difficile pour le moment de le savoir, mais à noter que hier, après des manifestations, le gouverneur de la région du littoral a fait une sortie dans laquelle il a bien évidemment précisé que
qui nous présente des mouvements. Il y a des mouvements, il y a véritablement de l'ébullition, ça bouge, ça bouge. La population véritablement s'exprime, la population est très mécontente et nous allons prendre le cas, nous allons nous déporter à Guidé, où le paquet de Guidé, je répète, le paquet de Guidé vient d'être incendié. Le paquet de Guidé vient d'être incendié il y a quelques minutes seulement. Le paquet de Guidé incendié. Voilà le paquet de Guidé incendié il y a quelques minutes seulement, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs. Le paquet de Guidé incendié. Comme quoi le peuple, la tension du peuple ne va pas s'estomper, ne va du tout pas s'estomper. Le peuple va réclamer par tous les moyens véritablement la vérité des urnes. Le paquet de Guidé incendié, comme je le disais. Et nous allons aller rapidement à Bepanda Bonabo, à Douala, où la population est aussi présente dans les rues. À Bepanda Bonabo, à Douala, la population ne démord pas et est dans les rues. Douala Bonabo, nous y sommes. Oui, la population est dans les rues, comme vous pouvez voir à Douala Bonabo. Ça bouge sur le triangle national, les choses bougent. Les choses bougent. Les jeunes ne lâchent pas. Les jeunes ne lâchent pas. Et rapidement, nous allons nous déporter à l'est du Cameroun, le chef-lieu de la région de l'Ouest Bétois, où les manifestants incendient un véhicule de police après la mort de plusieurs personnes. Oui, les manifestants sont véritablement fâchés à Bétois, chef-lieu de la région de l'Est, où effectivement les manifestants décident comme ça, par colère, d'incendier une voiture de police. Oui, incendié à Bétois, chef-lieu de la région de l'Est. Oui, nous allons rapidement à Bétois, où effectivement ces images viennent de nous être mises à disposition par Zumanto. Oui, vous voyez Bétois, après l'assassinat, on va dire comme ça, de quelques jeunes par la police, alors quelques voitures de police sont totalement détruites. Des policiers sont, vous voyez les policiers, vous voyez ce policier qui est quasiment lynché, un policier quasiment lynché en direct. Voilà ce qui arrive quand un peuple ne se contrôle plus, quand on abuse de la patience d'un peuple. Voilà des policiers lynchés à Bétois. Regardez, c'est ces images comme on n'aime pas voir. C'est dur, c'est douloureux, mais malheureusement, nous sommes sur la terre des vivants et donc des mortels. Et dans des révolutions, lorsque la légitimité du peuple, la colère du peuple se manifeste, difficile d'être rationnel. C'est ça, malheureusement, la conséquence qui arrive lorsque des pouvoirs extrêmement dangereux et criminels se comportent de la manière du pouvoir de M. Biya. Oui, voilà Bertois, où les manifestants incendient un véhicule de police après la mort de plusieurs personnes et des policiers qui sont lapidés, lynchés comme ça en direct. Regrettable, déplorable, mais c'est la réalité hein, sur le triangle national depuis quelques heures, depuis au moins l'annonce frauduleuse de la victoire de M. Biya. Oui, ça va dans tous les sens. Et nous allons aller rapidement. La résidence du maire de Garoua incendiée. La résidence du maire de Garoua incendiée car accusé hein, d'avoir orchestré la fraude lors du scrutin présidentiel. Voilà la résidence du maire de Garoua incendiée que je présente à l'écran. Oui, mes amis, ça bouge au Cameroun. Et la population n'en démord pas, hein, parce que dites-vous que jusqu'à présent, la population attend aussi, sans avoir attendu le mot d'ordre du président élu Issa Chiroma Bakari. Vous avez vu aujourd'hui, après la proclamation frauduleuse du Conseil constitutionnel, cette population est sortie revendiquer le droit et la vérité des urnes, sans que le président Issa Chiroma Bakari ait demandé quelque chose. Donc, forcément, il fera une sortie pour mettre les points sur les i, et là, ça va déculper les forces. Oui, voilà la résidence du maire de Bertois incendiée. Résidence du maire de Bertois incendiée, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs. Oui, nous allons continuer comme ça. La liste, hein, la liste des villes, des régions. On est à Bafoussam. À Bafoussam, oui, déjà, Total Aéroport Douala. Total Aéroport Douala, tout est bloqué. Tout est bloqué par la population. La route est totalement bloquée. Les forces de l'ordre incapables de dégager la route. Impossible. Oui, vous voyez, on parle de route, pas d'autoroute. Car au Cameroun, ils ont fait des pistes meurtrières, oui, et mortifères. Nous allons aller à Bafoussam où le peuple est dans la rue. Le peuple est dans les rues à Bafoussam, rapidement. Nous nous déportons à Bafoussam où la population est dans la rue à Bafoussam. Bafoussam, nous nous déportons, nous allons voir la population de Bafoussam exprimer son ras-le-bol, son non au hold-up électoral qui vient d'être effectué par toute la machine administrative de M. Biya. Voilà la population de Bafoussam dans les rues. Pendant que nous observons la population de Bafoussam, il y a forcément du mouvement ailleurs. Le mouvement ailleurs nous vient d'où? La population à Garoua vient d'incendier l'établissement scolaire de M. Yerima Dewa, accusé de traîtrise par le peuple. N'oublions pas que ce M. Yerima Dewa, retenant ce nom véritablement odieux, oui, ce M. Yerima Dewa est le voisin direct, du président élu Issa Chiroma Bakari, le voisin dont les maisons sont juste apposées quasiment, oui, et c'est de la maison de ce monsieur, de ce monsieur Yerima Dewa, que sont postés certains éléments de force de l'ordre et certains tireurs de l'élite qui liquident véritablement les populations. Donc, rapidement, nous regardons ensemble cette maison, du moins l'établissement scolaire de ce monsieur qui vient d'être incendié au niveau de Garoua. Ce n'est que le début, mes amis. Vraiment, quand un peuple revendique la vérité et la justice, ce peuple est capable des choses les plus incroyables et hélas très souvent ignominieuses. Oui, c'est de ça qu'il s'agit. Voilà l'établissement scolaire de monsieur Yerima Dewa, voisin au président élu Issa Chiroma Bakari. Oui, les maisons sont vraiment juxtaposées et vous avez vu certainement sur les réseaux sociaux une maison où au sommet on voit des personnes bouger, oui, les tireurs de l'élite quasiment, des hommes en tenue. Oui, c'est ça, le peuple va en découdre dans tous les cas. Le peuple va en découdre et ne laissera pas ça comme ça passer. Et ne laissera pas ceci impuni. Alors, nous allons nous déporter rapidement. L'armée recule face au peuple à Niala. Niala, nous sommes à Douala. Nous sommes à Douala où, effectivement, l'armée, comme on le dit, recule face à la population de plus en plus croissante dans les rues des grandes villes du Cameroun. Oui, voilà Niala, voilà le quartier Niala à Douala où, effectivement, l'armée est débordée de ce côté. Oui. Et c'est ainsi, hein, quasiment un peu partout où la population s'est levée. C'est ainsi presque partout. Alors nous avons Bafan. Bafan dans la région de l'Ouest où la colère après l'exécution d'un jeune par la milice du dictateur Biya. La colère du peuple. La colère du peuple se manifeste et se fait sentir à Bafan parce que effectivement, oui, les hommes en tenue ont quasiment, comme ça se passe depuis quelques heures déjà, liquidé, à bout portant, assassiné, exécuté un civil dans la ville de Bafan où la population sortit en masse exprimer son ras-le-bol. Oui, nous nous déportons à Bafan et nous sommes à Bafan. Regardez ce qui se passe à Bafan à l'instant. La population est véritablement en colère. Bafan en colère, Bafan en colère. Nous y sommes. La ville de Bafan en colère, la population de Bafan en colère. Oui. Et après Bafan, qu'est-ce qu'il y a en plus? On a, bien sûr, parce que ce sera certainement de manière graduelle, hein, la population a compris les enjeux. De manière graduelle, la population, dans sa légitimité, car la légitimité appartient au peuple seul, va passer de graduation en graduation. On voit un dépôt de l'entreprise Congelcam, l'entreprise privée Congelcam, oui, comme on accusait il y a encore quelques temps, oui, c'est soi-disant les pseudo un capitaine d'industrie créé par le régime comme ça pour tenir la population en laisse tels des animaux, oui, comme ça des soi-disant richissimes qui bossent contre le peuple totalement et pour les opprimeurs du peuple, oui, les oppresseurs du peuple. Congelcam qui est brûlé à Dakar, Douala, Congelcam, l'entreprise Congelcam incendiée, un dépôt au moins de Congelcam incendié à Douala. Nous y voilà, Congelcam en feu à Douala, Dakar. Voilà, oui, c'est la réalité du terrain. Actuellement, à l'heure où nous parlons, les choses vont vraiment crescendo et on sait que dès lors que les populations passent à la phase de frapper les intérêts économiques de certains dangereux qui soutiennent le régime criminel de Yaoundé, oui, les choses bougent forcément. Nous sommes à la poste de péage de Banja. Poste de péage de Banja incendié. Des péages qu'on fait alors que les états des routes sont toujours tellement délabrés et surtout des routes, comme je le disais dans mes propos de quelques secondes et minutes, des routes mortifères et criminelles. Oui, nous sommes à Banja où la population a incendié le péage de Banja. Oui, ça va vraiment vite. Ça va vite. La population réclame la vérité et veut voir à la tête de la nation le président élu Issa Chiroma Bakari. Nous avons les images effectivement de Banja où le péage vient d'être incendié. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, ça continue, hein, ça continue parce que la population commence à comprendre les enjeux. À Douala, nous sommes où? À Douala, je crois bien. Nous sommes à Tradex Borne 10 où la population incendie la station d'essence Tradex à Borne 10. Oui, la population incendie la station d'essence Tradex à Borne 10. Voilà. Oui. Ces personnes qui se croient à l'abri et qui narguent le peuple, se faisant du beurre sur le dos du peuple. Non, la population a compris les enjeux. Voilà la station d'essence Tradex Borne 10 à Douala qui vient d'être incendiée par la population. Autant de dégâts sur le triangle national et hélas, je dis bien hélas, les dégâts vont aller grandissant, oui, et comme je le disais encore tantôt, il y a une catégorie de la population qui n'a pas encore compris les enjeux, mais va devoir bientôt comprendre les enjeux. Oui, cette catégorie-là qui croit qu'il faille à tout prix mettre la quête de l'argent, la quête du matériel, la quête des choses éphémères au-dessus de l'intérêt collectif et du destin d'un peuple. Oui, cette catégorie de peuple qui n'a pas encore compris, cette catégorie va comprendre coûte que coûte, vaille que vaille. Oui, au prix même des pertes forcément financières. Oui, des pertes financières, car l'enjeu est beaucoup plus énorme que ça. Nous avons ici effectivement Tradex qui vient d'être totalement démoli, incendié. Voilà les images comme vous le voyez à l'écran. Tradex à Douala, bien sûr, oui, du moins une station, certainement d'autres passeront. Oui, nous sommes à Douala, voilà les images de Tradex incendiées. Voilà, et nous allons encore continuer, nous continuons et nous allons nous déporter certainement ailleurs. Il y a du nouveau ailleurs certainement Et nous nous rendons où? Nous nous rendons, oui, je parlais effectivement de cette population qui n'a pas compris les enjeux. Pour certains, on ne peut pas les en vouloir parce qu'ils ne comprennent pas, sont sous-éduqués dans en ce qui concerne la citoyenneté. Oui, malheureusement, c'est l'état de beaucoup encore, n'ont pas compris pourquoi ce peuple-là s'est levé pour bagarrer et revendiquer sa liberté et revendiquer la vérité des urnes. Regardons ce qui s'est passé dans un marché à Douala. Marché à Douala où, véritablement, dans le cadre de l'affrontement entre population et les milices comme ça, du régime en place, oui, les marchés sont saccagés, les étals, les petits commerces sont brutalisés, oui, et là c'est ça malheureusement, on ne saurait faire des omelettes sans casser les œufs. Toutes ces choses arrivent toujours sous les cieux et sur la terre des vivants lorsqu'il s'agit des revendications populaires de masse, lorsqu'il s'agit des revendications surtout légitimes du peuple. Oui, nous sommes au Cameroun et ça se passe au Cameroun à l'instant. Nous apprenons la mort d'un autre jeune tué par la milice du dictateur Biya au quartier Nyong. Oui, non glacé à Douala, quartier non glacé à Douala où la police a exécuté un autre jeune. Ainsi, on entend le courroux de cette jeunesse qui ne va pas en démordre. Oui, cette jeunesse qui ne va pas en démordre, certainement. Et nous nous rendons rapidement où? Nous allons nous rendre à Elekam. Elekam dans la ville de Banja qui a été saccagée et brûlée. Elekam, une station Elekam dans la ville de Banja, saccagée et brûlée. Oui, Elekam dans la ville de Banja, saccagé et brûlé, vous l'avez à l'écran. Elekam dans la ville de Banja, saccagé et brûlé. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, le déroulé des événements est tel qu'il est au Cameroun à l'heure où nous parlons. Dans beaucoup de villes, les images nous parviendront et nous nous ferons, hélas, le plaisir de montrer certaines choses qui déplaisent à l'œil humain, à la sensibilité humaine, mais sous la terre des vivants et sous le ciel des vivants, rien de nouveau sous le soleil, comme disait le sage Salomon, quand un peuple est debout, rien ne peut l'arrêter. C'est ce qui se passe au Cameroun et qui va encore se passer dans les jours à venir, car retenons une chose, le président élu n'a pas encore pris la parole réellement pour dire comment les choses vont continuer, car il a tout un peuple derrière lui. Oui, voilà les images que nous avons actuellement. Voilà les images, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs, que nous avons actuellement. Triste réalité, très triste réalité dans le Cameroun, le pays de Oumniobé, le pays de Jean Afané, le pays de Minkion-Bamba, le pays de Ernest Wandji, le pays de Phoenix Moumier, le pays de Charles Tangana, le pays de André Marimbida, le pays de ces grandes figures de l'histoire qui, hélas, pour un besoin éphémère de la confiscation du pouvoir à vie, un groupuscule, un petit clan de personnes extrêmement dangereux a décidé de sacrifier tout un peuple et voir le devenir de toute une jeunesse. Ça ne passera pas, j'en suis persuadé, Et pendant que on attend bien sûr les autres événements sur les différents foyers de tension sur le triangle national camerounais, nous allons comme ça suivre le direct qui nous est proposé par notre sœur
et les 5 autres provinces de l'autre.
Et bien sûr, je vous tiens informé de la suite.
Le gouvernement Biya va régner sur 5 provinces sur 10. Comment est-ce que les choses vont se passer? Comment est-ce qu'on va créer des choses juste pour ces personnes-là? L'Assemblée législative, l'Assemblée nationale va reprendre le service le mois prochain, dans quelques jours seulement, dans quelques semaines. Moi, j'ai hâte de voir ce qui va se passer. On a vu Kaba Ege Djibril à Marois, qui était à peine capable de dire 2 ou 3 phrases normalement construites. Est-ce que les députés du RDPC, parce que c'est ce qui se passe, vont encore lui accorder d'être président de l'Assemblée nationale? Vers quoi est-ce qu'on est en train de s'avancer? Est-ce que c'est devant lui et devant Nia Difendi qu'on n'a même pas aperçu aujourd'hui que Biya va prêter serment? Moi, j'ai un peu pas la conviction, je me dis que peut-être, et on le sait, tous ceux qui sont autour de Biya ne veulent pas laisser ce qui se passe. On sait très bien que c'est un groupe de personnes. Et je pense qu'ils veulent juste contrôler les choses Peut-être qu'il y a des modifications qui vont être faites, probablement, mais ils vont essayer de contrôler le plus longtemps possible. Mais je pense qu'au fond, ce qui dérange ceux qui sont à l'extérieur comme nous, c'est que ce soit une honte. Moi j'ai du mal à me tourner et de dire à mes collègues que j'ai le président de la République dans mon pays qui va faire 50 ans au pouvoir. That's too much. It means half of a century.
Yes, c'est-à-dire que tu penses que Biya va être président du Cameroun, n'est-ce pas?
Bah oui, bah c'est ce qui est normalement.
Non,
mais sur les papiers, c'est ce qui
n'est pas président du Cameroun parce que le peuple lui a rejeté. I'm just trying the French because someone said I should talk. Le peuple a le mandat de décider qui est le président du Cameroun.
Comment ce peuple qui est martyrisé, je ne dis pas non, I'm totally okay with that.
Si ça restait seulement pour la commission qui comptait le vote, si ça restait sur eux seulement, ou bien la Cour constitutionnelle, c'est qu'on ne devait pas avoir le scrutin le 12 octobre. They should have just waited, attendre pour que les gens soient assis, et ils donnent les fiches à Paul Biya et ils décident que Paul Biya va être président. Because that's what they've done. You cannot distinguish the two.
No, I agree with that. Je pense que les gens sont allés au vote parce qu'ils croyaient encore qu'on peut passer par la voie des urnes.
Maintenant, la stratégie de Issa Chiroma Bakari. And let me explain to you now what we did at the DISO project. One thing people thought was that with the DISO project, we were starting that with the objective that we just wanted to be able to win, and we expect that these guys will go out from the ballot box. It doesn't happen. I'll give you an example. People ask me this question over and over when Michelle and I were talking about vote and protect your vote. People ask the question, what will you do if it's proven that the incumbent lost and he refuses to go, like it happened in Venezuela with Maduro? Maduro lost the elections in Venezuela. He's still there, right? The difference with that and Madagascar is that the people were thinking that Maduro will look at the results and leave. We were not under that illusion. Issa Chiroma Bakari is not under that illusion. And let me tell you why. Look at his communication today. Have you seen him talk about the Constitutional Council?
Nope.
Have you seen, what did he say when people were shot and killed? Let me read it out so that people understand where Issa Chiroma's this thing. He said, told of their attack to death. I wonder what will be said this time. Shooting point blank at your own brothers. I can't help but wonder if you are mercenaries. What he has just done is just delegitimize the people who shot. You cannot be a soldier of the Republic of Cameroon or a police officer who swore an oath to protect the Cameroonian people and you shoot them because of money. You become a mercenary, and for that reason, you are no more legitimate. By calling those who shot Cameroonians today mercenaries, he has just distinguished them from Cameroonian soldiers and from Cameroonian police. Mercenaries are people like the Wagner group, like the Tuaregs in Mali, that you pay them and they come in and kill. Any soldier who raised his hand and pulled that trigger is now a mercenary in Cameroon, and they are illegitimate in the eyes of the Cameroonian constitution. Let me proceed. He said, kill me if you want, but I will liberate this country by any means necessary. End of quote. That was Issa Chiroma Bakari on the 27th of October 2027. He is not saying, I will claim the victory, we will get the ballot box, I will go for an appeal, I will do this. He is not talking that, he's talking liberation. That is the active word in what Issa Chiroma said today. Issa Chiroma never once expected that.
But also because there's nowhere to appeal now. It's over.
Cameroon is a state that has been captured for a long time by a few individuals who has Biya there as a patsy. They are controlling and all that, and it needs to be liberated. He needed the legitimacy to be given to him by the Cameroonian people through the ballot box. He needed something to be able to be sure that the Cameroonians that he will be putting his life on the line for are ready for him to do that. And Cameroonians answered yes. I don't know how that happened. Don't ask me. I am a political scientist, but I cannot tell you the phenomenon that has become Issa Chiroma. In 3 months, he got every Cameroonian to believe that he is that liberator. That is what he's calling himself today. I am the liberator. I will liberate Cameroon. He did not say, I am going to take my stolen mandate. He's not talking about what John Frundi said in 1992. He's not talking what Kamto said in 2018. He's talking about liberation. That liberation comes in one way and one way only. When the people whose mandate has been stolen decides that enough is enough, we are going to stop this, which has already started happening. We say that it should be peaceful, it should be coordinated. Get out on the streets. It was 1 million people in 2014 on the streets of Burkina Faso. Blaise Compaoré fell. 1 million. He fell. He is a dictator like no other. He's the one who killed Thomas Sankara. But 1 million people on the streets and Blaise Compaoré fell. How does it happen? People often do not understand how people on the streets lead to the fall of a dictator. It's because once the people turn out on the streets and you have 1 million Cameroonians across the streets, or there are more Cameroonians on the streets more than the people who voted for Biya, Biya loses legitimacy and the military will tell him, you step down because we cannot protect the national territory. If we get an attack from Nigeria, if we get an attack from Central Africa, we will not defend the territory because the people are on the streets. The military suddenly is in a very difficult position because they cannot control the territory anymore. They will force Biya down, and then they will have to look at the next step forward. Chiruma is not looking to be president of Cameroon. That's what people are mistaken about. He's not looking to be president. He is looking to be the liberator of Cameroon. He's not talked about presidency today. He's not talked about himself as president. He's talked about himself as a liberator. Cameroonians, if you want to be liberated, this is your moment. You've got someone saying he's willing to die to liberate you, but you only can make that happen. The youth of Madagascar chose to chase out a 51-year-old president. Cameroonians can do that in Cameroon if you want to. Come out, do not burn anything because you are giving them excuse to shoot or do something. But the numbers on the streets, what we want to do from the diaspora is that we want to mobilize to be able to feed the people who are out there on the streets. I'm calling on anyone in the diaspora. If you want Cameroon to be liberated, let's stop the talking. Let's go to Project C and start contributing the money that can be able to tell boulangeries to be roasting bread and giving people. People should start coming out in your quarters. Don't go to a central position. Everywhere, come out and know that you are in a funeral. You want to be liberated. C'est le moment de la libération. C'est le pas fraude électorale, ce n'est pas electoral hold up. No, it's liberation. That is, I'm not quoting myself, it's Issa Chiroma. He's talking about liberation. Cameroonians need to liberate themselves.
Okay, Kingsley, thank you so much. Really, how much they
So you know, when you start talking, Kingsley, at some point, you go up and up and up. I can understand. But remember what I said to Lovely a couple of days ago. Don't let the emotion go over.
You're getting emotional. I cannot be rational in a very irrational situation. Anyone who tells me that
you don't need to really get
very emotional, very emotional. I'm talking the tears in my eyes. I am
emotional and intentional. Thank you.
A friend in the USA called me 2 years ago, and this person has not talked to me for years. Called me, and the first thing they said was, Kingsley, I lost my brother. I said, oh, was he sick? He said, no, he died on an Okada accident in Douala.
Okay. So, Loveline, before you ask something to Professor Nicodemus, I think that we have like maybe the last question with him, and then I think we just need to say goodbye for now. And after Professor Nicodemus, we will try to make sure to come back in a couple hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours, so in the evening, so that we can keep talking on it, and then we will have more images, and maybe we have more guests to take the time to go over the situation on the whole day, and then have like a very big conversation on it. So I don't know if you have maybe a last question to Professor.
Yeah, just short observations.
Absolutely,
from Kingsley and from you, Sandrine. Kingsley makes a point about the president-elect, or President I can't pronounce it. Chiroma Bakary. He makes a statement that he is not sort of fighting to become president, but he wants to liberate the people. Now, this type of thinking, and that's why I say that people can be very inventive. This type of thinking is because of what he's undergoing. And so he sees himself in that position. And so he's communicating. That's the politics. He's communicating. It's so much about, because you're liberating as a leader. So he's communicating to a constituency. So that's a very clear point. The second thing I want to say, Sandrine raised the issues about the geopolitical location of the Northwest, Southwest, and the one of the Grand North. I think there's a difference. If you take the Northwest, Southwest regions, Nigeria is their border, but Nigeria is not sympathetic to what's happening in the Northwest and Southwest province. In fact, they are an obstacle to a certain extent. But when we come to the Grand North is cohesive. And I think it's important that Cameroonians should understand this. By Cameroonians, I mean the government, and people are not in government. Everybody should understand this. If we look at the issues, some of the problems in Northwest problems, particularly the farmer grazer problem, Fulani people from Nigeria cross over to whom? That is, Fulani from Nigeria crossed into Cameroon to fight. What does that tell you? Now, if we translate this to the Grand North, we realize that the Grand North is an ethnic continuum with Nigeria. In fact, we think the Grand North and Nigeria, they are the same people, same ethnic groupings, religion, amongst other issues, and they are very cohesive. They are what you call my brother's keeper. So that's the first point. The second point is that with Chad, with Central African Republic, and with Nigeria, where arms are just, circulating so freely. This up now translates the Grand North into a volatile and a dangerous region. And if any problem, any trouble starts there, what we have in the Northwest and Southwest region will be a child's play. Because we are talking about the people who are cohesive, we are talking about the people whose boundaries are friendly.
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry, but so maybe you didn't get me well. I understand that there is a lot of, I'm just going on the part that they say that there are crises in the Northwest and the Southwest region that are not being solved until now. And then with something, with the election, like presidential election that is going on now, we can see clearly that the Grand North, is completely, I could say, little bit down. Not in the same way. I'm not talking about the same causes. No, it's not. They are not the same causes. But I was just saying that if the system in place does not have the control, technical control on those 5 regions, it's like we are kind of split. That's what I was trying to say. I was not trying to know.
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. The Grand North is a special region, but it's very difficult to control. That almost underscore that point. It may be easier to deal with the Northwest Southwest region than with the Grand North. The Grand North is slippery, it's complicated, it's more cohesive than what you find in the Northwest and Southwest region. And once it's more cohesive, it poses a special security problem. That should be clear. So the issue of the Grand North and President Bakari should be handled with a lot of care. Any attempts at arresting him or anything of that sort will create us problems we have never seen before. So that has to be handled. It's a political problem. If it means giving him the power, give him the power. That's my position.
Okay. So thank you, Professor. Maybe we might have you later in the day. So for now, we just need to take a deep break, I can say so, and then come back later with a lot of energy and strength, and then go over what happened during the World Day, and then just keep continuing to have a big conversation on that. So lovely. Je pense qu'on va arrêter ici pour maintenant. It's been 5 hours of live. So thank you to Mimi for Info Team. On va arrêter pour ici en ce moment-ci. On reviendra probablement on reviendra en fin de cette journée autour de 18 ou de 19 heures avec des hommes politiques, avec d'autres experts de la société civile, et on va revenir sur tous les événements, toutes les manifestations qui ont eu lieu cette journée au Cameroun après la proclamation des résultats de l'élection présidentielle et continuer cette grande conversation. Alors, on revient très bientôt. N'oubliez surtout pas de vous abonner pour être certain d'avoir les notifications de ce que nous sommes en ligne. N'oubliez pas d'aller souscrire aux pages de mimime.info, Cameroun News Agency, Beyond African Postcards, Analyse avec Sandrine Yamga, et puis sur la page Twitter de Rebecca Elonchon. Merci à vous. Thank you, Loveline.
Thank you, Sandrine. Thank you, our viewers all over the world. Just like Sandrine has said, we'll surely be coming back in a few hours' time. Time for us to also get a break and think of other new strategies, and we're also encouraging, those who think that they can say something, especially on the way forward to get to MMI.
ces cris sourds du pays qu'on enchaîne. Oh, et partisans, ouvriers et paysans, c'est l'alarme. Ce soir, l'ennemi connaîtra le prix du sang et des larmes. Montez de la mine, descendez des collines, camarades. Sortez de la paille, les fusils, la mitraille, les grenades. Oh, et les tueurs à la balle et au couteau, tuez vite. Oh, et saboteur, attention à ton fardeau, dynamite. C'est nous qui brisons les barreaux des prisons pour nos frères. La haine à nos trousses et la faim qui nous pousse la misère. Il y a des pays où les gens creux des lits font des rêves. Ici, nous vois-tu, nous on marche et nous on tue, nous on crève. Ici, chacun sait ce qu'il veut, ce qu'il fait quand il passe. Ami, si tu tombes, un ami sort de l'ombre à ta place. Demain, du sang noir séchera au grand soleil sur les routes. Chantez, compagnons, dans la nuit, la liberté nous écoute. Amis, entends-tu les cris sourds du pays qu'on enchaîne?